The weirdest rapper friendships. In general, most rappers are known for just hanging out with people inside the music industry, other rappers in particular. Most rappers have best friends who are also rappers. The classic friendship between Uzi and Cardi is a great example, and Tyler the Creator and A$AP Rocky are also a great duo. Musicians are usually so busy recording music and going on tours that they don't really have time to make friends with people who live different lifestyles. But there are some exceptions to that rule that might really surprise you. There are some rappers out there who are friends with people that you would never expect them to be friends with. And I'm not talking about rappers who just happen to take a picture with some random celebrity one time. I'm talking about rappers who actually have good friendships that are just totally weird. At the end of the day though, I guess it makes sense for rappers to link up with celebrities that have no connections to the rap world. Hip-hop has become so popular these days that rappers are truly among the elite in the world of the rich and famous. These friendships probably just happen naturally. Before I jump into this video though, please make sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now, here are 8 of the weirdest rapper friendships. Number 8. Jay-Z and Warren Buffett. It almost feels like Jay-Z is more well known for being rich than he is for being a rapper these days. While he still obviously releases music, his 2018 collaboration with his wife went to number 2 on the Billboard. He has transcended rap in some ways. His savvy business choices have landed him a net worth solidly above $1 billion. And he now fraternizes with other mega wealthy people, including none other than Warren Buffett. Interestingly enough, Jay and Mr. Buffett didn't happen to meet at some super secret Illuminati dinner party. They actually first met in an hour-long interview set up by Forbes. Apparently, Jay-Z was pretty nervous to meet Warren, but they actually hit it off. A lifelong investor and a tough rapper from New York becoming friends seems odd, but they actually probably have a lot in common. Their friendship didn't start and end that day, however. They've continued to be close since the Forbes interview, and there are even photos of them hugging. There's even a photo out there of Warren Buffett throwing up the Rockefeller diamond hand sign. That's pretty cool. Number 7. Meek Mill and Robert Kraft. Judging from the different rap beefs that he's been involved in, it seems like Meek Mill has plenty of enemies. Luckily enough, he also has a lot of friends. He squashed his beef with Drake, and the two seem to be close now, and he's definitely tight with the whole Dream Chasers crew. But Meek also has another friend that is seemingly out of place, Robert Kraft. In case you aren't familiar with Kraft, here's a quick rundown. He's a multi-billionaire businessman and investor that has been involved in a number of different financial companies, but most people know him for his involvement in professional sports. He currently owns the New England Patriots. So yeah, he exists in a pretty different world than Meek. Unlike the friendship with Jay and Buffett, this one doesn't really make sense at all. But still, the connection exists. They met through a mutual friend, and Kraft even visited Meek when he was locked up in 2018. The two have talked about prison reform together, and Meek even got Robert up on stage while Cardi B was performing. It seems like the relationship is mutually beneficial, as Robert has helped bring Meek to a different level of influence, and Meek has helped Robert get in touch with his, inner gangster? Seriously, just check out his dance moves. Number 6. Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has to be one of the most interesting rappers in the world. He started off his career by revolutionizing gangster rap and bringing it to the mainstream, and he later reinvented himself as a reggae artist and even recently as a gospel artist. He also has become an oddly wholesome public figure and randomly pops up all over the place. His persona has changed a lot over the years, but there's one thing that's for sure. If you had told someone in the 90s that Snoop Dogg would be on national TV cooking alongside Martha Stewart, they would not have believed you. But hey, that's the world we live in. The two are tight to this day, with their friendship starting way back in 2008. He showed up on our show, and they instantly hit it off. Watching that episode feels like watching two people who have always been friends, even though they had just met. They obviously had chemistry in the kitchen, but it didn't end there. They kept hanging out over the years, and they spend time together even when no cameras are rolling. Snoop once said, "I love Martha, like I love her, like for real. Some people are just meant to be friends." Number 5. 50 Cent and Meryl Streep. 50 Cent seems like a tough guy on the outside, but he's actually surprisingly sensitive. Anyone who has seen his appearance on the Chelsea Handler show knows that. The two seem like they should never get along, yet they ended up dating because they hit it off so hard. And Chelsea isn't the only unlikely woman that has ended up charmed by 50. He's also good pals with Meryl Streep of all people. Meryl Streep really should need no introduction. She's frequently been cited as one of, if not the, finest actresses alive, and she's as skilled on stage as she is in blockbuster movies. She grew up with a great family in New Jersey and went to Yale. Needless to say, she and 50 led different lives. Funny enough, the two of them actually met at a Knicks game. They were sitting next to each other, and 50 noticed that Streep seemed like she was having trouble following the action. He decided to help her understand the game, and a real friendship blossomed. Photos even show the two holding hands. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, it's not romantic. they're just buddies. Number 4, Rick Ross and Bill Murray. Bill Murray is a true legend of comedy. Rick Ross is a true legend of Miami rap. And the two together, yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. For starters, the age gap is pretty crazy. Ross is 45, while Murray is 70. And of course, they come from very different backgrounds. So how did these two ever end up forming a friendship? Well, as far as I can tell, it started out at a basketball game, just like 50 Cent and Meryl Streep's connection. Ross was watching a college basketball match coached by none other than Luke Murray, which is Bill's son. I'm guessing that he must have connected with Bill through Luke, as the three were later spotted at Ross's studio. I won't go as far as to say that Bill was looking for some collaborative tracks with Ross, but anything's possible. As weird as this one seems, it's not all that out of the ordinary when you put it in the context of Bill Murray's life. The guy is just kind of strange. In a good way. He always shows up where you least expect him. And he's had plenty of random friendships with other celebrities. When you've got as much clout as he does, you can pretty much hang out with whoever you want to hang out with. Number 3, Tupac and Jim Carrey. Tupac is arguably the most influential rapper to ever live. He changed rap in the 90s, and many modern rappers even still cite him as their biggest inspiration. There are a lot of interesting stories of his personal life, ranging from his feud with Biggie to his relationship with Madonna. But there's also an obscure connection he had that you may have never heard about. When Pac was in jail, a lot of people reached out to him. That's actually the time when he linked up with Suge Knight and signed with Death Row Records. But Suge wasn't the only person that got in contact with him. Jim Carrey, of all people, heard about Tupac's situation and felt that it wasn't right. So he decided to start writing him some letters to cheer him up. We don't have a lot of details about what the letters said, but it's safe to assume that they were probably hilarious, and that they probably did a good job of keeping Pac's spirits high while he was locked up. They didn't have much time to get to know each other personally once Tupac was free though, as he was killed not too long after he was released. Carrey has since talked about his friendship with Tupac though, and it seems he still holds him in a very high regard. Number 2, Drake and Millie Bobby Brown. So here's one that we probably all know about but have tried to forget. Yes, back in 2018 we learned that Drake and Millie Bobby Brown have a close relationship, and it was kinda weird. On one hand, there's nothing inherently wrong with a grown man chatting with a young woman, and they are both stars in their own right. Drake probably just wanted to offer the star some advice on navigating the world of fame. But on the other hand, yeah, it's weird. Drake is 18 years older than Millie, and she was only 14 or 15 at the time that it was revealed that they were good friends. And not only that, the nature of their relationship was definitely a bit questionable. Millie said in an interview that she and Drake texted all the time, and that he gave her advice about boys. That's definitely enough to raise a few eyebrows. We haven't heard a lot about Drake and Millie Bobby Brown's relationship since she first talked about it in that 2018 interview, and there are probably good reasons for that. Drake received a ton of backlash, and he likely stopped speaking to her so often. Or maybe they just don't publicize their conversations anymore. Either way, let's all just try to forget about this one. Number 1, Kanye West and Donald Trump. I bet y'all saw this one coming. Out of all the relationships that rappers had in the past, this is absolutely the strangest. Kanye was known throughout his career as having pretty liberal views. His dad was a Black Panther. He was the guy that got on national TV and said that George Bush doesn't care about black people, for crying out loud. And that's why it was pretty shocking when it was revealed that he was not only meeting up with President Trump, but also that he was friends with him. There are a lot of different ways to interpret this one. Maybe Kanye's political views really did change and he just decided that Trump represented his views. Money does change how a person thinks after all. Or maybe Kanye just wanted to show that he was capable of loving everyone, even someone very different than him. Or maybe his friendship with Trump is just another example of Kanye being Kanye. Either way, Kanye being friends with Trump may be the single most controversial thing he has ever done. And that's really saying something. I can't help but wonder if their relationship was strained after Kanye ran against Trump in the last presidential election. Who am I kidding? Trump probably had bigger things to worry about. So which of these friendships was the most surprising to you? Let me know in the comments, and before you leave, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel.